more insight on the economic future in this country right now, we welcome Professor Dan Galay, founder of Sigma Investment House and a Professor Emeritus at the Finance and Banking Department at Hebrew University, speaking to us from Jerusalem. Professor, thank you so much for your time. Unemployment numbers continue to rise as more and more workplaces are shutting down. Give us your assessment of the impact the coronavirus is having on the economy in this country at the moment.
First of all, good evening, everyone. Yes, it has an immediate effect, as was mentioned just before. Once you close all hotels, restaurants, all the shops, you immediately have a wave of unemployment, of laying off of workers. And actually the number today in Israel is over 800,000, very close to 1 million people are unemployed. But we have to qualify it. We hope that most of them are temporarily laid off, meaning that if the crisis is relatively short term, meaning will end by the end of April, I think that most people will go back to work. Remember, we had very low unemployment rate just before the crisis. In January, the unemployment rate was less than 4%. So probably if it will end by the end of April, unemployment will go up, but will stay at around 6%, something like that, which is not the end of the world. However, if the crisis will continue towards the summer, June, July, then the impact can be much more severe. And again, we'll see part of the 800,000 or 1 million unemployed not returning very soon to the workplace.
Now, Professor, to that exact point, government is planning for the day after this crisis ends. Those were the words from Benjamin Netanyahu on Wednesday, saying they will help revitalize the economy afterwards. What do you think is needed to help business owners who have had to shut their doors in recent weeks and, as you put it, are hoping that this is just temporary? What would you advise?
First of all, I wouldn't wait until the crisis is over to revitalize the economy. I think that measures are needed now. First of all, we should remember it's a different crisis from the crisis we had in 2007, 2009, the GFC. It's different from any crisis over the last 100 years. And we can see it in what we call the fear index, the uncertainty in the financial markets, which is kept very high already for 3 weeks. So we don't see yet the end of the uncertainty. The world is dominated by uncertainty. That's a major factor today because nobody knows when it's going to end, and if it's going to end in one place, what will happen, let's say, in the United States or in Europe. And since the world is so connected, the economies are so connected, even if we solve it here in Israel, we'll be affected by what's going on in the United States. So it's much more complicated due to this globalization. I think that measures, therefore, are needed immediately to help the unemployed, to increase the deficit. And again, I come from the University of Chicago, a student of Milton Friedman. Yes, he was afraid that if we print too much money, there will be inflation. But today, there is no inflation already for more than 10 years. So we shouldn't be worried about the inflation. We are worried about the coronavirus. We are concerned about the economy. So we should take measures even if later on we'll have some economic issues, we'll have enough time to solve them. So yes, we have to give immediately some benefits to the unemployed, to help small, medium-sized businesses, because they are very much affected by the crisis that is going on. So we should provide them some assistance. And of course, to those enterprises that were immediately affected, like hotel chains, restaurants, airlines. And again, the concern about inflation or budgetary deficit should be resolved later on.
Thank you so much,
so
Professor Dan
really
Galay. Professor, thank you so much. We are going to have to end it there. The founder of Sigma Investment House and Professor Emeritus at the Finance and Banking Department at the Hebrew University, speaking to us from Jerusalem. We appreciate your insight. Now,